Hey all, it's Shadian Munro here. I am going to show you today the new Slink Physique Alpha and Layers HUD that is being released in December of 2016. We've made some significant changes to this HUD and the way it's designed and the way it works under the hood, which you'll notice a little bit less. But the most significant change is that I've added more alpha cuts to the Physique bodies, which should make you have a much easier time setting your body up for wearing mesh clothing. So let's just get started. The first thing you'll notice when you unpack your new HUD is this little red S that appears in the top left corner of your screen. That's the HUD's minimized state. So all you need to do to access the HUD is click it open and you get this lovely little menu down the side here with all the different tabs on it. And the first thing we'll look at is the Alpha tab. When you click the Alpha tab, the Alpha panel comes out. You can access each of the body parts individually if you wish. You can click a number of them at a time to have a larger section of body disappear. Or you can access the quick toggle sets on the left and the right side. So all these are just groups of alphas that I've linked together to make for an easy place to start. So if you're wearing a t-shirt, click the t-shirt button and a section of your body will disappear. And then if you see any gaps or there's any skin still poking out, you can just refine a little further if you want to. Neckline's too high, just turn on the next panel down. When you want to go back to the default state, press toggle all a couple of times to bring your body back. Same thing with the miniskirt, for example. If you're wearing a miniskirt, if this is too long for your miniskirt, just click on the tops of the thighs there to bring them back and refine from there. I've also grouped in some more lower clothing options like lowrider jeans and a pencil skirt. If you click it once and then you click it again, the body part just comes back on. Put in some thigh boots. And on the right side, I've got the sections of the body grouped anatomically. So upper body, chest, midriff. So if you just want to turn off that section for wearing a shirt that has a narrow waist, you can do that. Down the bottom of this page, you will see that I have 3 buttons called nipples, armpits, and groin. All these do is turn off a section of the body, or when you're using an applier layer and you find that there's clipping in the underarm. You just turn off that section of the skin and it'll go away and you won't see any more clipping. Same with the groin. It only affects the skin layer. Underneath that, we have a section for neck fitting. These buttons are called 15, 25, 35, 45, and 55, and they represent the body fat setting of the default avatar. So if you're wearing this mesh body with your default avatar head and your body fat setting is set to 15, select the 15 button and the neck fit will change ever so slightly to fit correctly with that body fat setting. Go with a larger one here so you can just see what I mean. That neck fitting fits exactly with 45 points fat setting on the SL default avatar head. If you want to wear the Slink mesh head, and I believe a couple of other mesh heads also have this setting, just set it to off. It will go back to the default state and you can wear the mesh head that you want. Incidentally, off is also body fat setting of 5 on the default head. Over on the left side, right down the bottom, you'll see a new button called Auto Alpha with a tick on it. With this update, I have created a new system whereby creators can throw a script into their mesh clothing and have the Slink body automatically respond to an alpha preset. It will respond so long as you have this option ticked. If you turn this off and you want to set your own alphas, you can wear any clothing and the body will not respond at all, whether there's an auto alpha script in there or not. So if you're wearing an auto alpha enabled item of clothing and your body is not responding, check that you have this ticked and enabled. You will also get a message in local chat to tell you that the item's been ignored if you've got that disabled. Up the top here you have a help button which you can click and out pops this very handy little panel. On each of those pages you can see that there is some information about those particular areas of this HUD. So you can have a quick read. If you need to click it away, just click on anywhere on that help screen and that page will go away. That's pretty much it for the alphas page. It's fairly straightforward and hopefully the new improved alpha section in the chest and the upper back will help you get a much more refined fit for mesh clothing. So let's move on now to the Layers tab. This tab here controls the visibility of your applier layers. So we have here the tattoo applier. So if you wish to use a tattoo from a third-party provider, you can apply it with their applier HUD, toggle the visibility of the tattoo on and off here. This button here toggles the entire layer, including hands and feet. As you can see, I've got a random test texture on my feet, which is very attractive. If you want to just show one particular section of the tattoo, say you only have a tattoo on your left arm, right arm, I beg your pardon, then you can just turn it on the right arm and on the left arm. You can also toggle on the tattoo for the hands and the feet separately using this HUD. Same with the underwear layer and the clothing layer. The body comes default with the red underwear set up on the underwear layer and visible. So if you buy the body and the red underwear is visible, all you need to do is just simply go into the Layers tab and click off those two sections. If the section is white, it's visible on the body. If it's black, it's not visible. And it's the same with the clothing layer. The clothing layer doesn't have the hands and feet because there is no clothing layer on the hands and feet. There's only tattoo and underwear. That off again? Okay. Next set of buttons down is just the default underwear appliers. So let's just toggle that on under my beautiful blueberry underwear. Toggle that on so you can see there's a white, a red, and a black default underwear applier. So you can use this in lieu of another lingerie applier, or you can just replace this with a applier from your lingerie store of choice. Okay, down the bottom here you'll find the tinting section. There is a RGB HUD included with the Physique body as well, so if you want to really drill down and tint separate body parts, upper and lower parts of the layers, etc., you can use the included RGB HUD. But for the purposes of overall tinting of these layers, you can use this inbuilt system I have here. So if you want to tint the skin, you simply click on the skin button to the left, the skin tab, and then you slide around on the color picker until you find the perfect shade of Orc. Beautiful. You can also click directly on the color picker. Underneath the color palette, you'll find the color section where you have a red, a green, and a blue value displayed in white floating text, and a swatch of the current color that you've got set. So you can always easily refer to it. And there is a reset to white button if you decide you no longer want to be pink. You can do the same thing on the underwear layer, so let me just turn that on so you can see. You click on underwear, and then you can slide around find a nice shade of your underwear applier. You can do the same thing with tattoo and clothing as well. Keep in mind that it will tint the entire clothing layer, so the entire body. In the case of the underwear, it will tint your entire underwear layer, including your gloves and your socks. In the case of the entire tattoo layer, including the tattoo hands and feet. And in the case of the skin, it'll tint the entire skin, including your hands, your feet, and your head. If you want to go back to white, just click Reset to White. Now you'll notice there are a couple of new options here on the tattoo, underwear, and clothing tabs. And the option is layer masking. This is the same as the previous version, except you can now control the level of layer mask. So skin doesn't have the option for layer masking. If you wish to wear a tattoo underneath your underwear, and your underwear is causing your tattoo to disappear due to the alpha sorting bug, you can click on your underwear, click on Toggle Mask. By default, it's set to 51. But if you find that that's a little bit too low, you can always just bump it up a little bit and the mask will change. I don't recommend using this. It's a nice option to have, but it makes the textures look very flat. It works best on clothing that is just a solid edge. As you can see here, it doesn't work very well on lace or other sheer clothing. Toggle that again. As soon as you toggle it off, the underwear goes back to its normal setting. See, a little easier on the red one here. Again, the Layers tab has a help button, top left of the screen. Click on it, some information comes out about each of these sections, and you can read them and get a little bit more help. Again, if you need help with anything, you can also contact myself or my assistant Slink Resident in World, and we'll help you. So let's move on to the Skins tab. On the Skins tab, once again, you'll find a help button, which explains some information about these buttons and what they do. There's a list of default skins that I've packaged with this body across the top of the Skins tab. We have reworked the previous version of the Physique skins to add a little more depth, a little more shine and interest to them. I think they're very pretty. And below each of those skin buttons, you'll find one called No Nip, which just toggles on a version of that skin that does not have a nipple texture. And because of YouTube adult ratings, I won't take the bra off, but you'll have to find that out for yourself. Directly underneath that, you will find the default makeups for this skin for the Slink Visage heads. So if you want to change your eye makeup and you're wearing this particular skin, go ahead and do that using this HUD. The makeups I've tried to make compatible with all of the skin colors. And you may even be able to use these makeups with other skins if you want, but I haven't tested that. If you want, you can also clear all the makeup simply by clicking the Clear All Makeup button. And this also works with any makeup you've applied through other third-party applier HUDs as well. Just clear every texture that's on the makeup layer on the Visage head. Directly below that, you will find the buttons for the special effects. So with this system, I have packaged in 2 specular maps. When you click the sheen button and you have advanced lighting set up, you must have advanced lighting on to work with this system. You'll see now the body has a lovely light sheen on it. On droplets, see the effect a little bit more details. This is particularly cool on the next tab, which I'll show you in a moment. If you don't want to see any droplets or sheen on your body anymore, or you've used a third-party applier HUD that adds a skin specular effect, you can just click Clear Specular Effects and it will remove it from all of the body parts. These buttons also add the sheen and droplets to the hands and the feet and the head. Alright, so that pretty much covers the skins tab. For the next tab, I will add the droplets back because we've added some very cool stuff. The next tab is called Effects, and in here we have all of the advanced lighting effects, glossiness and environment, and full bright and glow. So these advanced effects only affect the specular map on the skin. They don't affect the color of the skin or the textures of the skin. They only change the glossiness level and the color of the specular map. Let me demonstrate that for you. Here I have applied the droplets texture from the previous tab. So if I want, I can change. It applies default at 51. You can see the value just here. And you can see here I've got a slider called glossiness value, a slider called environment value, and some buttons to fine tune them. So if you think 51 is a little too low, you can press this button, but it only goes to 52. Or you can press this button at the end here and it goes to 62, which doesn't make a whole lot of difference to the way the specular map appears. However, if you click on the slider, you can drag the number up to 200 or so, which will significantly change the way your glossiness appears on your body. So now you have a much stronger shine and much less overall droplets appear. So you can achieve some very cool effects with this. Take it all the way up to 240. It will become very shiny, very strong. Similarly, if you want, you can take it down. It starts at 51 by default, so let's take it down to 20. And now the specular map becomes very diffuse and a little more subtle. You can also take it all the way down to 0. Keep in mind, your specular map is still applied in this case. It's just not visible. Drive that up to 25 though. Now, the cool thing about this page is you can change the color of your specular map. So once you have one applied, and you must have one applied for this to work, slide around on this color palette here, and let's make it a nice pink. As soon as you lift up your mouse, your specular map tint will change to pink or green, blue, which can let you achieve some very cool effects on your body. And this is particularly good on the tattoo layer if you want to apply some say disco sparkles or a shiny tattoo. One thing to note is that currently the specular tint doesn't work on the head, hands and the feet, and the glossy setting doesn't work on the head, hands and the feet yet, but I'll be updating them in the new year, so that will work shortly. When you want to go back to white, just hit the reset to white button, everything will reset back to white. The environment value slider is simply the environment reflections. So when you push that up, turn into the amazing shiny woman, which I think can have some very cool effects on the tattoo and underwear layers, or the clothing layer if you're wearing a shiny cat suit. Again, it doesn't work on the head, the hands and the feet, but it will in the new year when I've updated those items. Now if you want to get rid of the specular map altogether, any specular map you've applied to these body parts, just hit the Clear Specular Map button and it will clear the specular map from the currently selected layer. So if you've applied a specular map to your undershirt layer, all of the information here will change depending on what you've got selected. You just hit clear specular map, it will clear it from the undershirt layer. Same with the underpants layer, clear specular, clear normal, clear it from the underpants layer if you have it selected here. The section underneath that, called Other Properties, contains the full bright and the glow value buttons. And I don't necessarily recommend these, but some people might find them useful. Hitting full bright just turns the body full bright. Again, it doesn't work on the head, the hands and the feet, but it will once I've updated them. However, it does work on the tattoo, undershirt, underpants layers, etc. So if we just pop back over to the Layers tab here and enable the underwear, change it to white, and then we pop back over here and turn the undershirt to full bright. See that changed. I'll show you again with the underpants. Bright. See how that's now changed to not getting any shadow? And these tabs will also keep settings as you're going through them. So if you tab back to the skin and then you go back to underpants, the underpants full bright button will still be ticked. The glow value is exactly the same. You select the layer you want to set the glow on and you click on the slider. You can slide up and down till you get the perfect number, 68, why not? Or if you want to hit 70 exactly, just click on the fine tune button. This one goes up in increments of 1 point. This one goes up in increments of 10 points on that slider. This one goes down in increments of 10. And this one goes down to 0. So you can turn the glow off. Again, on this page, you have a Help tab, Help button up the top, which will bring out a panel which shows you all the information about these buttons, what they do, and they look like. This may change between now and the released version of the HUD, but always use the version on the HUD to get help rather than the version in this video. When you want to put the HUD away again, you just click on that red button again, it all goes away, and you're left with a nice clean screen with no clutter on it. I recommend you wear this HUD all the time that you're wearing the Physique body. The auto hide scripts are dependent on the HUD being attached, and if the HUD is not attached, the body may get out of sync with it. If you find the body has gotten out of sync with the HUD at all you need to do is open up the HUD, toggle an item, and everything should synchronize back up. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was useful. And if you have any questions at all, you can contact me in Wales, Shadian Munro, or my assistant, Slink Resident, and we will try to help you as much as we can. Thank you.